Hello AIO guys, welcome back to another video. So for today, we're going to configure Palo Alto high availability in active passive mode. So if you remember on the last video that we made, we did an initial configuration for the Palo Alto firewall. Now we are basically adding one more firewall. Okay, instead of one firewall, there will be two firewalls in active passive mode. So one will only be processing the traffic, one will be on the standby mode. So this is going to be our topology for today. We have the ISP above, then below that one we have the firewalls. Okay, then on the firewall side, to establish the HA here, the HA1 and HA2, we are directly connecting the firewalls to each other back to back. Okay, HA1 and HA2. Okay, for HA1 this is the configuration synchronization, and HA2 will be the session synchronization. Then below that one, we will be having two switches. Okay, if you remember, we have a configuration already on PA firewall 1, which has two networks. One is the static IP and one is the DHCP that's coming from the Palo Alto firewall. And technically we're just going to copy the same thing on the Palo Alto firewall 2, but this time it's going to be high availability. So this will be our high level information that we have. So PA1 management IP will be 0.3, then PA2 will be 0.4. It will be the passive one, and that's still the same. We have Ethernet 1 directly connected to the ISP. We're going to use DHCP for now, and then Ethernet 2 will be using manual as IP assignment, and I named it inside static zone. And Ethernet 3 will be a DHCP, this network. And then we'll have, of course, the HA. I'll use Ethernet 4 for HA1, Ethernet 5 for HA2, and we can also use the HA1 backup in the management port. For the bigger platform hardwares, there is dedicated high availability ports available. Since I'm using a VM, we don't have enough ports to cover all, because I might be needing other ports next time. So I'll be using only two data ports available here, and I'm going to use the management port as the HA1 backup. Okay, so what's happened on the backup is when this link goes down, Ethernet 4, it will rely on the management port as the HA1 backup link. Okay, so as I said earlier, on the higher end models, there will be a dedicated port for HA1, HA2, and HA1 backup. So you can directly connect it from there, and you can configure to use it as the HA ports. Now let's go and configure it. Okay, now let's do the configuration. So technically this is already configured. So this is the one that we configured earlier on the last videos, but right now we're going to add this high availability ports, okay, that we're going to take from the data ports. So first thing we have to do is, since this is already configured, let's go to network interfaces. Okay, now as I have said, Ethernet 4 and 5 will be the HA ports. So let's select this one. Let's select the interface type as HA. Okay, let's put it as HA1. Okay, this one also. Interface type HA, HA2. Okay, now we can configure the high availability. Okay, let's go to device. high availability. Click the gear icon. Let's enable the HA. Now the group ID, it's any digit from 1 to 63. So for me, I'll use 10. Description lab-pa-ha. Okay. So active passive is the mode that we're going to create today. Enable config sync. Okay, that is also selected. Okay, for now I'll press OK. Now let's go to HA communications. And if you remember, HA1 will be Ethernet 4. So let's select the port as Ethernet 4. Now here, you're going to have to configure an IP address which the firewalls will be communicating with. Okay, so you only need 2 IP address for HA1 for now. Okay, because the HA1 backup will be on the management interface. So for me, I'm going to use 10.10.1 netmask. Since we only need 2 IP address, I'm going to put slash 30. Okay, 252. Click OK. Then on the HA1 backup, we're going to configure the management. Okay, and on the HA2, we're going to configure Ethernet 5. Okay, enable session synchronization is enabled, and I'm not going to put any IP address. Okay, now let's go back. As you can see, 10.10.10.1, and that's going to be the management. Let's go back to the general tab and reconfigure this one. Here, peer HA1 IP address, since we're using 10.10.10.1 here, we're going to use 10.10.10.2 over here. And then the backup peer HA1 IP address will be the management IP address of the second firewall, which is 192.168.0.4. Okay, let's press OK. And let's commit. Okay, configuration is the commit is completed. Let's go back to network. Check it out. Okay, it's up now. Okay, configured and up. Now, what we're going to do, let's open the second firewall. 192.168.0.4. This is the second firewall, 192.168.0.4. As you can see, there will be no configuration on this one. This is a fresh firewall. Okay, the default policy is there. On the network interfaces, there is nothing configured. Okay, let's go back to the first firewall. Okay, before doing the configuration, let's just confirm that we have the correct let's confirm that we have the correct interfaces attached. Okay, yeah, this is correct. Okay, now that's fine. So next thing we have to do is, since we don't want to create this one from scratch again, by the way, this is also applicable to the RMAs. Okay, we're going to take the device state of the first firewall and transfer it to the second firewall. Then we're going to edit the values, okay, to avoid conflict. Okay, so let's take the device state, export device state. I'm going to save it in downloads, correct? Okay, it's downloaded. Now let's go back to the second firewall, 192.168.0.4, and we'll go to device. Then we'll click on this import device state. Click browse, downloads, and this is the one. Open. Okay. Okay, so once this is uploaded, do not press on commit immediately. Just click on the task first. Okay, that's fine. Now we have to change the IP address, of course, from see, we're taking the configuration from the first firewall. So we have to remove the IP assignments. See here, after importing the device state from the first firewall, we had the same management IP. I will change it to 4. Okay. What else we need to change? We also need to change the high availability IPs. Okay, so here, instead of 10.10.10.2, it's going to be 10.10.10.1, which we configured under the high availability communications on the HA1. This is the HA1 IP address that I am referring to over here. Okay. Now backup peer IP HA1 IP address is going to be the management IP of the first firewall. So that's going to be that 3. Click OK. And then HA communications again. Now, since first firewall is using 10.10.10.1 and you're referencing the peer HA1 from the first panorama is 10.10.10.2, we have to change this one to 10.10.10.2. Okay. Yeah, that's it. Now, what we can do now is to click on commit. And then click on commit. Here, let's open this high availability widget interfaces. Okay. Okay, I think it was coming with the certificate. So let's try to refresh. Yeah, it's coming with the certificate, giving us that invalid thing. 0.5. Yeah, let's proceed. Now I want to refresh this one. Okay, so as you can see, the high availability is now formed. The local one is acting as the active one, and then the peer is acting as the passive one. So the peer is this one. Okay, we forgot something actually. We forgot to change the host name. So let's change the host name as well. Device setup management. Yeah, host name will be labpa2. Okay, so while that one is committing, let me just explain a few parameters here. Okay, so this is it, okay? This is going to be the complete configuration. So you will be able to confirm it on the high availability widget here, the mode and everything about the high availability. Now, I just want to explain a few things about this high availability parameters here. Okay, so let me, since we already discussed this one, which I shown you, let's talk about this active passive settings. So here on Palo Alto Firewall, you have here the active passive settings. Okay, passive link state, shutdown or auto, monitor fail, hold down time 1 minute. So this is by default. Okay, so what it does is if the passive link state is in shutdown mode, the meaning of this is whatever the interfaces on the passive firewall will be shown as down. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, this will be showing as down. Okay, so if you can see, I'll change it to auto. I'll change this one as well to auto. Let's commit here. Please be advised that the high availability configuration will not be synced in between the firewalls. Okay, this is a device level configuration only. Okay, I'll commit as well here. Okay, so as you can see, the passive link state is now set to auto. Okay, so this is the active. As expected, since this is the active, it will show all the interfaces as up. On the passive one, let's check if the commit is done. Still committing. Okay, it's done. Let's go to dashboard. Okay, now as you can see, after enabling that one to auto, the interfaces on the passive firewall will be still up. Okay, so that is what the active passive settings does. Now let's go to this election settings, so device priority. So like other firewalls, we also have election settings, device priority. Take note, this is not actually recommended. It's very seldom that you see this preemptive is enabled. Okay, but to let you know, okay, these election settings will only work if the preemptive is enabled. Okay, so once it's enabled, you have to make one priority lower, 50. If you want this to be always the active, this is 50, then this is going to be 100. Okay, so what it does is once you fail over, it will go to passive. Okay, then after some time, it will go back to the active mode. Once the heartbeats and hellos has been confirmed between the two firewalls, it will be prioritizing PA1 as the active firewall. Okay, so that's it. What we can do next is to test this configuration, test the failover. Okay. Okay, let's test this configuration now. As you can see, there is no traffic on the second firewall, of course, and on the first firewall we have some traffic. Let's test it. Okay, as you can see, it's pinging. Now let's perform a failover. How you're going to do that one, the manual failover. You can go to device, high availability, and then operational commands, and then we just have to suspend this one. Are you sure you want to suspend the high availability? Yeah, click OK. Now we need to go back to the other one. Okay, as you can see, there's only one ping timeout, and then it transitioned automatically to the other firewall. Okay, go to dashboard. You see, local is now suspended, so I'm not processing. This is not processing the traffic. However, this is the one processing the traffic. If you go to dashboard, high availability, local is now active. So as you can see, as fast as 1 second, Okay, it will be automatically transitioning to the active one. Okay, so let's do some more tests. Let's go to device. I'm going to remove this one to suspended state. I'll transition it to passive one. So same thing, go to device, high availability, operational commands, and then unsuspend the local device. Now this is the passive now, firewall one. Okay, we'll do another test. We'll shut down PA2. Okay, I think let's do it here. Okay, so it's pinging. We will shut down PA2. Okay, so let's click on PA2, shut down. You see, it automatically transitioned. You only have one ping request time out. Okay, that's how fast the high availability takes effect. Since this is already shut down, let's check on the firewall 1. Refresh this one. It automatically assumed the role of active. Okay, so we're going to ask, why is this peer up version unknown, 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 down, up? Okay, see, firewall 2 was shut down, so there's no hellos and pings and hellos exchanging, heartbeats and hellos, sorry. There's no heartbeats and hellos exchange, so they cannot see each other. That's why it's showing as unknown, 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 down. So once PA2 comes back up, you'll be able to see it again. Okay, so in theory, we have successfully configured Palo Alto high availability. Okay, and we have tested it, how fast the transition. Okay, as you can see, there is only 2 lost because we tested first from firewall 1 to firewall 2 via manual failover, and there is 1 RTO, and then after that we made the PA1 as passive and PA2 as active. Then we shut down PA2, and automatically PA1 assumed the role of the active firewall. And yeah, that's it for today. If you have any questions, you can send a comment below, and I will try my best to answer those questions. So thank you for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share with your colleagues if I help you configuring the high availability. Thank you so much. Have a great day.